Welcome everyone to the Flux Dev Meeting. Today is August 22nd. Let's get started.
Cool. So I have created an issue to kick off the Flux 2.4 release prep. And yeah, there are some things to discuss there around can we make it with the Azure OEDC authentication or not? That's one big thing there, and the other one is the caching of the OEDC tokens in source controller. But I see that Sule is not here, so I'll try to reach to him, and if not, I'm going to drop that from the roadmap. Deepti, can you say what's the status and if you have any plans on finishing this before the release?
Sorry, I was on mute. Yeah, I'm trying my best to kind of wrap things up and kind of get that going. So like I saw the dates to be September 16 to 23rd. So realistically, by when would is it like by end of the month or September first week that we would want to kind of target closing on the PR so that it can make the 20, so 2016 to 23rd is when the release would happen, right? I'm just trying to understand by what date should we target closing all of this so that I can respond quickly as well.
So we usually need 1 week to release the whole thing.
Okay.
So everything has to be merged in the first week of September.
First week of September. Okay. Yeah. I think I'm trying my best. Just that I think I have a latest review out with like all the comments this far. Um, that has all the package changes and also the caching related to kind of cache the token, etc. The source controller PR, I had held off on that because there was just so much churn in the package and I didn't want to every time it would take me like multiple things to kind of change. So, but I can have that PR out soon. I am on vacation from 8/29 till September 3rd, so like 5 days. So I think I have 1 week to kind of see if we are able to come to an agreement and close on things and close by then. Otherwise, I'll be back on September 3rd, and then I think there are a few more days. Maybe if we like September 7th ish is when I'm thinking, but might be the hard deadline to get things in, right?
Okay, yeah. I also looked over your pull request and I saw the only thing that's really blocking for me is the fact that you have added a bunch of dependencies to Kubernetes packages, which are a big blocker. We can't
Okay.
have Git
Okay.
cannot depend on Kubernetes
Okay.
because
Yeah.
all the packages that depend on Kubernetes depend on Git. So then we'll have this.
Makes sense. I think I did not like look very deeply because I just when I was waking up, I saw your comment. I'll take another look, but I think the log one is just a logging related dependency, and the other one is a test dependency. So I think I should be able to get rid of that. But yeah, I'll take a look today and kind of do that.
Yeah,
I was looking into it, and it needs more attention. So the cache was designed. I don't know. I still don't understand the reason. It was designed based on client code cache. So it has some properties which depend on client code. There is something called identifiable object. It's a way to identify that an object in cache is a Kubernetes object. This behavior adds Kubernetes dependency in cache itself. So if you add cache in Git package, it'll have Kubernetes dependency.
Yeah, Yeah.
I think we can take that identifiable object out of cache itself if you want to, because most of our cache usage will not have Kubernetes objects. Only I think one specific use case has this requirement.
So I think I remember seeing identifiable objects in one of the tests. Is it a test related dependency or is it also being used like in the product code? I haven't taken.
Let's use it, and the main cache interface file also has this object.
Mm.
So it becomes a ternary dependency. You don't directly depend on it, but indirectly you depend on it.
Yeah, okay, we can go with an indirect dependency and then figure it out. But my main concern are with direct dependencies, which shouldn't be there. Like we use something to cast a pointer. Come on, we can
Yeah.
cast a pointer. That's not needed. Then we don't need to import the whole controller runtime and hundreds of packages just to log something. There is a
Yeah, yeah.
logging
Mhm.
interface that we
Yep.
can use, right?
Yeah, I think those
if
two,
you-
yeah, I think those two, the logger one and the k8s.io utils, I think those two I can remove. I'll have to check a little more on the caching related one that Sunny was referring to.
Yeah, I'm aware of the. I remember now that caching subscribes to a client Go interface, but that's not a direct dependency to Git, so we can figure it out. I mean, when it's not a direct dependency, you can easily swap it. So it doesn't block us updating client Go because it will replace it also for Git. The problem I'm having are with direct dependencies.
Yeah, and those direct ones, I think I'll take a look today and kind of try to get rid of that. For the indirect one, what do you mean by like we can figure it out? Like, is it okay to have it, or does it need
Yeah,
to be
it's
removed?
okay to
It's
have
okay
it.
to have.
We can figure it out later. It's not the
Okay.
blocker, the indirect dependency for me. The direct ones are.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. Sounds good.
Thinking of discussing, do we need to have any indirect dependency on Kubernetes? It makes dependency management easier maybe, but the way it's designed, I don't see why it has a dependency on Kubernetes.
The cache
But
one,
if
you
we,
mean?
why should cache have a dependency on Kubernetes itself? But if you go in this, we can change a lot of things that we may not like to change now.
Yeah, the cache package basically implements the store interface from client Go, right?
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, if we are stuck on this, we are going to, if we need to rewrite cache, if we need to rewrite cache, then we can just remove Azure from the next release and do it next year, because this is not going to happen in 2 weeks.
It need not be a rewrite. If you just want to remove dependency and keep the same interface, that identifier object can be moved out of the cache package. You can still test the existing tests without Kubernetes object. Just put anything, it's an empty interface. Can be done, but if you're fine with the indirect dependency, then I think it's okay for now. Maybe if Sula is there, we can discuss more.
Yeah, as I said, I don't think the indirect dependency is that much of a problem.
Okay. Next.
Okay, so we're keeping things as it is for now, like using the same cache, not changing anything in it. And yeah, Okay.
Yeah.
Are
And
there any other?
removing the direct ones.
Yeah, I'll work on that today. Are there any other like major red flags or anything that you'll see, or is it overall looking okay?
No red flags from me.
Ani?
Looked fine. I didn't check in detail the latest
Okay.
version, but
Okay.
it looked okay.
Okay.
I didn't run
Yeah.
anything after running maybe
Mhm.
like 5 seconds.
Yep, sure. Yeah, I have been running the tests in the past consistently. I think it's just the structure and like where we want things to kind of be. Yeah. Mhm. Yeah, let me know if you all have any feedback and I'll try to respond to it as quickly as possible from my side.
So with the latest changes, we are going towards the direction where auth package will have minimal things
Mhm.
which are generic to all the authentication, but they will not have OCI or Git or client specific things, which means that maybe for Git will have its own thing, but for OCI, I think a few weeks ago we were talking about a new OCI auth package. Maybe that won't happen anymore. The existing auth package may change, similar to what Git is doing.
Yeah, like I was thinking that the auth package would have like the token retrieval related things, which might be common to OCI and Git. And obviously, we've moved all the Git specific things to Git because caching is also there. And yeah, so if like a similar model for OCI would make sense. Yeah.
Any thoughts, Stefan? Initially, we were thinking about deprecating the package. We cannot deprecate the whole package, right? Auth is a sub package inside. We can do it. We're thinking about deprecating it initially, right?
Yep. Yeah, we can go with the deprecation. Lots of projects outside Flux are using it, right?
You said without deprecation or with deprecation?
We need to deprecate the auth package. We can't remove it, right? You said it that other projects outside Flux are
Kiverno is
using it.
using it. Huh? The ones we know, Kiverno is using it. The reasons for deprecation was to maybe change the API, remove some things, like the recently added cache field, remove those things. But maybe you
Yeah,
can
but
break it.
no one uses the cache thing, right? So we can just remove that. If it's about removing the cache from the OCI package, I don't see why we should deprecate things. We can just remove it because it was added between releases very recently. So we can just remove that. But any other change to the previous version, breaking change, we need to do it through a deprecation first.
Okay. Thanks. Do you have anything from the roadmap or the release preparation?
Um, no, it's okay. I have to talk to Sule and see what's happening with the overall cache. But that was it.
I noticed. Oh, so while reviewing the CLI artifact diff changes for adding semantic diff, I noticed that the contributor was doing something different with p flag. So p flag has a value interface which has a function called type. The way we use it And the way upstream P flag tests use it is in the type, we just return the type of the whatever value you pass, integer, string. But if it's a custom type, you just return the name of the custom type, but it may not mean anything to the user who doesn't know what that means. So your type value could be for, let's say, provider. You can pass AWS, GCP, Azure, but the CLI shows you provider with the data type called source OCI provider. I have pasted in the meeting doc how it looks like. And then we describe, or in the description of the flag, we show what the actual values you can pass. But this contributor did something which looks better to me. So they changed the type interface, type function to return the actual values you can pass, which is more intuitive. You know what values are accepted instead of source OCA provider, which doesn't mean anything to the user. Now you don't have to add these values in the description anymore.
So when you type help, minus help, it will print the options.
Before the description, it will print all the things you can pass, the values. Better, right?
Yeah.
Will you consider it breaking chain? It's just help description. No, right?
No.
Okay, I can create an issue. It can be like a good first issue. Anybody who's interested, we can contribute with this.
Yeah, so basically changing all our, 10 or 11 custom types that we have, right? Yeah, that's fine. The CLIs and especially custom flags are in the internal package, so this is definitely not a breaking change. We can do it.
Okay, I'll create an issue.
Cool.
Should we discuss about bucket new API?
Yeah. So we merged all things and basically I'll have to create a pull request to bump the version to V1. Is there anything left? I guess not, right?
Hello, yeah. Yeah, I think I don't have any other missing PRs, like I think we merged all of them. There's the like changing the structure of the constants for putting the common part as a prefix. I think like, are we gonna ship that in this version?
We are going to ship everything that's merged.
Cool. So I guess we have the issue open already, right?
Are you talking about the renaming the constants?
Yep.
We can do it. It's not a lot of work. Just creating constants.
Yeah. Okay,
So,
since it's also easy and big, I can do that today. Or
the question would be, today we don't, in V1 API, we don't have these constants for providers because Git doesn't have these providers. Helm OCI has it, but we don't provide these constants. Should we introduce these constants in V1 package?
Yes.
If yes, then we should. Okay.
Yes, and it's not an issue that OCI repo is not promoted to V1. If you look, for example, so we have the verification part, which is common between OCI repository and Helm chart. And when I promoted Helm chart to GA, I moved the OCI verification types to the V1 package. Anyway, let's do it like this. I'm going to wait for the pull request that adds the static variables. And then I'm going to do the GA, and I know how to move them and where to move them and change, because Pita, the dependencies should come from GA towards Pita, not the other way around. Right? So to conclude, I'm going to wait for Mateus to add those today, tomorrow, when you have time, and when they are there, after we merge them, only then I'll do the promotion.
Cool.
So-
Okay.
So he'll,
Sorry.
so he'll
Yeah, I was gonna check with you
add the
later
new.
exactly the ones we need to add. Yeah.
What did you ask?
Sorry. Can I reach out to you via chat later to just check exactly the constants we need to add? Is that okay?
I was just trying to ask. So first we'll introduce the new constants in V1 beta 2 and then deprecate the existing constants. We'll merge this and then we'll move the new ones to V1, right? Separately.
Yes, there will be no, we are not going to modify anything in V1 in the pull request now.
We'll deprecate
merge
the
that.
old ones.
We deprecate the old ones, which are in V1 Beta 2, right? And the new constants, I will move them to V1 when I'm going to do the GA pull request, and leave only the deprecated one in the V1 Beta 2 API package. Yeah, so first we need a pull request that deprecates what's there, adds the new one to the same package, V1 Beta 2. We
Yeah,
merge that,
this-
and then I'll figure out how to do it for V1.
This will also have changes to the expected controllers that use these constants. The controllers will start using the new names.
Yep.
Next.
I'm gonna jump here. Okay. See you guys later. I'll reach out to you soon about this PR. Okay. See you guys. Bye.
I don't have the meeting doc in front of me. Am I next?
You are next.
Okay. So I've been testing out Headlamp. Headlamp is a Kubernetes UI that is a CNCF sandbox project. And it is definitely not a Microsoft project, even though all of the developers are from Microsoft or kinfolk. I tongue in cheek here a little bit, but it sounds like they're all working on this not under direction of Microsoft. I have a local deployment. I've tested it out in all of the various configurations to get to the place where I was able to run it in the cluster. But it also has a desktop app that you can run, and you can run the desktop app in headless mode, which I needed to do in order to use OIDC login for all of my clusters, pretty much, which use OIDC login. So now it's running in the cluster, and it is not using OIDC yet. I can show that today if we want to see it. But basically, there's a Flux plugin that's under development for Headlamp, and I built a canary image so you can load it via init container into Headlamp that you can install via Helm. And it works pretty well, except there are a few things that are definitely still broken, so it's not in a state where we can publish it to the catalog yet. But ultimately, you would be able to install Headlamp via Helm and click to install the Flux plugin. I think there might be a way to do it through Helm values. I haven't found it yet. But if you build your own plugins image, I guess companies that there might be a divide here between companies that are using Headlamp exclusively as consumers and companies that are using Headlamp while they develop their own plugins. So I think that they're trying to accommodate both types of users with the way that they have it set up. But I can share the look of it so we can see and take any questions with what limited experience I have so far. This is the article that I followed to get it built. It has a couple of things broken. You have to run npm install somewhere in here. And this Headlamp plugins directory can have multiple plugins in it, so you might need to run npm install for each of them. I've done that locally, and I built a canary image that you can install and test. And the docs tell you pretty much how to, not this doc, I guess. Oh yeah, this one here. So these are the Helm values. You need to be able to do a persistent volume because an init container copies all the plugins on start into the plugins directory. So I guess the alternate way would be to build an image that has the plugins that you want already in it. And let me make sure my port forward is online so we can run this. So there's lots of OIDC information in the docs that I haven't followed yet for how to actually hook it directly up to OIDC. This is the wrong terminal. I need this one. But what I'm doing instead is I am using also from the docs create token. I don't see it in my history here, but sorry. I think that's it. No. Okay. So you use a service account token to log in if you haven't set up OIDC. I skipped over that. But there's a Flux page, and I haven't set up all the different objects in here, so the only things we can see right now are my Helm repository and Helm release. But also on the main cluster page, you can see events that might be related to something wrong. And it looks like a pretty nice UI to me. It's just got to get some polish, and this has to actually be published as a catalog plugin so people can use it.
And you'll be able to see just a list, or yeah, anyway, I'll figure out on my own.
Yeah, you can go into the resources. If I click on that the Helm release, for some reason it errors out. I'm not sure what reason is yet, but you can see events for individual resources, conditions.
Oh, conditions.
Yeah, it's pretty nice.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah.
So you can actually see the events and use it as a debugging tool, like
Yeah.
with GitOps used to be.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, this looks exciting. If we get to a version that's usable, then we could include Headlamp into the get started example repo
Cool.
as a
Have you-
Helm release.
Have you checked what happens when you create a OCI Helm repository?
I looked at the
this
code. There
create
is
here?
no.
You can use the editor here. It's not really designed to create stuff in the cluster, but it exposes that in case you have permission to do that and you want to do that. But I don't think that the UI really clashes with Flux or GitOps in the sense of there's no create Helm release button here, or I think a lot of that stuff has been taken into account already. But if I click on this, for example, I'm going to get an error. I'm not sure why. So
What did you see, Stefan?
So I looked at the code and they only support Helm release with Helm repository. But it should be fairly easy to support Helm release with chart ref, which points to an OCI repo.
So Ashu is the developer of the Flux plugin, and I've been talking with him. He helped me get this installed. And Joaquin is, I'm not sure his role, but he seems to be maintainer of the headlamp core itself. And he helped me figure out some more things this morning to get the plugin installed. So they're responsive, and I think they'll be interested if we can push it over the line to get it published.
Yeah, ideally we'll want to have Helm release in the example repo, and when people get started with Flux, they will, after Bootstrap, it automatically installs Headlamp, and then we'll tell people to pour forward. We don't need OEDC or anything like that, right? It's just for having a tool that you connect on the cluster, see all things, be able to debug Flux, understand what's going on. I see that they are going to show the managed objects. So you go to, I don't know, customization, and you see what objects on the cluster are reconciled by that customization, which is like what Flux 3 does, basically, which is very important to figure out what's happening. What deployment is failing and so on, right? You need to see the managed objects, not only the Flux resources. And I'm guessing for the Helm release, they plan to do the same. And there is some query problem when you click on the Helm release, because they try to list the objects in the Helm release, and if they copy the code from with GitOps does not support Helm release version 2. We broke a bunch of things when we did the G release. On how you discover the chart, on how you get the secret, and all of that. But all the code is already in the Flux CLI, so and Headlamp is Go. They can copy paste the queries from there. So it should be straightforward how to get all this information out of the clusters. Anyway, thank you, Kingdom, for taking care of this.
Yeah. So
I
next
was
week,
thinking about
go ahead.
the thing I was asking was more about the bug we saw in GitOps when we change our conditions. Does this still have the, so Stefan, you said it just supports creating Helm repository with chart. I'm asking, just create a repository with OCI in the spec, and there will not be any status or conditions. What will happen to the UI?
The same thing, it will fail.
Failing. It'll show failing here.
It will definitely fail, because people expect for every Flux resource to have a ready condition, and look on that, right? That's we didn't took into consideration our users when we decided to get rid of status. That's it is what it is. We cannot do it. But yeah,
I think
it will definitely break.
That was I would say that was a misunderstanding on the user's part, or in case of real GitOps, the people who implemented that part, they assume that it will have ready condition, but upstream Kubernetes doesn't promise that. If there's nothing, it's ready. So there was a misunderstanding in what conditions mean when there's nothing. And if this is based on real GitOps, we will see not ready.
Probably, yeah. I don't know. We need to test it out.
That will be an experiment I do next. But by next week, I'm hoping that we have a shared environment. I've set up vCluster before with OIDC login, and I already have a DEX instance that I'm using. So we should be able to add you to an OIDC GitHub group if you're not already in it, and you'll be able to connect to this cluster directly and over the internet and add your own experiments to the Git repo so you can expose those things and share them with Ashu or Joaquin.
Cool. Okay. Anything else?
I had something in mind last week in image automation. Long time ago, we introduced a flag, which was for fetching all the branches, the push branch, before we process the image repository. When we check out, we pull the branches instead of overwriting everything. We pull the content, existing content of the push branch, and then we make a new commit. Remember that? There is a feature flag for it. It was added because somebody complained that they are seeing unnecessary repeated commits about the same thing again and again because commit history was getting erased. I think Paulo added a flag. I was wondering if it's needed anymore with the. Okay, no. I think I arrived at the conclusion. No, the new optimization only applies for the same branch, push and checkout branch. If they are same, will not do any further reconciliation, right? That optimization.
Yep.
I was just okay. I did not think about it's a separate. Nothing. I was wondering, do we still need that flag if this is the behavior? Okay, not required.
But it is required, right?
No, I mean no changes required. It's good how it is.
Yeah, I think it's good. Have you seen someone open a Flux discussion?
Yesterday with multiple comments with 2 clusters.
No.
Then?
Sure. This one.
Deleted tags. What does it mean?
I think they deleted a Git tag
push
and
back.
we push it back. Yeah, so this is very concerning, if that's what he means. And another bug also around image automation. Let's find. So someone uses a tag as the source and it fails. But I will. 1 second. Yeah, I can find. Yeah.
I'm trying to understand the usage of tag in image automation. When would you use a tag? And how can image automation deal with that? It's push
You'd
branch and
use,
checkout branch.
yeah, so let's say you do server releases to promote to production, which is quite common. You do a git tag, v, whatever, from your main branch, and Flux in a production cluster, reconciles from git repo with server, right? Then you use that git repo, which looks at tags, as the source for your image automation, and you push to a different branch, to a new branch. So you tell image automation, clone this branch, do all the replacement, clone this tag, check out the tag, clone it locally, do the replacement, and push to a new branch, right? So you use the tag as the source of the automation, which, yeah, I'm guessing it makes sense. Why not? It's just a ref.
Why would you check out? I don't understand. So if you move by tag, you always have to update your image automation at the checkout value. It must be a running branch, not a static tag.
Maybe they retag.
And update the object every time.
Yeah, like what GitHub tells you to do for GitHub Actions, for example. They tell you to retag the latest commit as v1. So it's common practice for Git tags to not be immutable. If GitHub does it, then I don't know. To me, it feels crazy. But anyway.
The way I understand image automation, this feels weird.
Yeah, image automation is made to work with branches only. So yeah, I think using a tag as source is quite uncommon. But the fact that image automation, when it does a push to a particular branch, it pushes alt tags that are deleted from Git. It pushes those tags back. That's quite crazy. And I don't understand how that can be. Some bug in GoGit. Something is messing up the tree, the Git tree, and when you push the commit, it pushes all tags attached to that commit or something like that. No idea. But yeah, if you have time, ask that user to give us the image automation so we see how it looks and explain where was the tag attached to the source branch, I'm guessing. Yeah.
I'll try it myself and see if I can, if it is. It seems simple. And then ask them.
I'm guessing people, or this is also uncommon, right? You usually don't delete tags from Git because in my mind, tags are immutable stuff. Okay, if I tag the wrong thing, I will bump the version and I'll tag it again. I don't delete the tag. But in case of emergencies, I think we also delete
They're revoking
tags.
it maybe.
Yeah. No, but you
They're just trying
mess
to
up
revoke the tag by deleting it.
Yeah, you mess up a release and you delete the tag and retag it, right? I did that a bunch of times when I don't know, I forgot to merge something in the release branch or whatever, and I went back and deleted the tag. And of course, I don't expect image automation to restore the tag. That's right, kind of crazy. And maybe it's related to that flag that you were mentioning before.
Because it fetches the history from remote.
Yeah.
So,
that's my hunch. Because if you don't have history and you do a clone with head one, a clone from head with no history. It's impossible to push something that existed, right? Like a tag. But if you do pull the whole history, maybe Git gets confused and somehow the tag gets restored.
Since we have a few more minutes, I wanted some opinion around the tests, the changes, modifications in the OCI test, which has now Git tests as well, integration tests. Deepti, are you here?
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah.
I left some comments. I was confused, like, how do we proceed with the design? So I left some comments. I'm still not sure what I thought is a good idea. So one of the things I'm thinking about is this. There's a file called repo_list_test. It was initially for just listing the registry repositories, OCI registry repositories. Now this has tests related to Git repositories because name is common. Now we need some mechanism to run just one set of specific tests, just Git tests or just OCI tests. We can do this in different ways. We can introduce a flag, which is what Dipti did. I was proposing we do it through regular expression using go run -run, and you pass the prefix of the test so that we don't need to go through another flag. But then I thought about there's another way to handle this. You can have build tags. You can have separate files for separate tests. You can have a test file which has only Git test, and the test file that has only OCI tests.
Yeah, so in Flux 2 in the CLI, we use tags.
Build tags.
Problem with, yes, build tags. The problem with build tags is that that no longer works. You need,
You cannot pass --- tags to it?
You need to pass it.
Oh. Every command you have to pass those tags.
If you don't pass, you just run go vet, what our makefile does. It will say, yes, it's okay, right? And you'll commit that code. End-to-end tests don't run by default because they use secrets or whatever. So someone modifies the code, go vet skips it, and you end up with the same case that we had in source control, where it doesn't even compile. No one knows because no one runs it, right? So yeah, let's use a regex or something for a prefix for the function and no longer not tags.
This can be solved by passing all the tags that are available.
No one will pass it because no one knows the tags.
Makefile will have it, right? If you're just doing your make target just does vet for all the files, pass all the build tags. But when you're running tests, don't pass everything. Pass what is relevant to the operation.
Why it wasn't like that in Flux 2?
I did not design that. I don't know.
It's not, MakeVet does not look at...
This behavior, I saw it in like VS Code as well. VS Code will not see unless you change your settings file and pass the tag. It will not show you any error there.
Yeah, also Golang does the same stuff, and then you have to edit all the runners everywhere to add tags. Is a nightmare. That's why I'm against it. Because it overcomplicates stuff for what? For running some tests conditionally, right?
I would say this is kind of an idiomatic way to go. So you, instead of doing test t.skip everywhere, again, you can manage things by t.skip or through build tags. whatever you prefer.
No, the build tags are not for this. They weren't made for this stuff.
Why not?
This
So
is
you build
definitely
for different
abusing
architectures.
build. Exactly. Because it makes sense if I'm on a Mac OS and you have assembly code for Windows, I don't want my editor to highlight and break everything when I run make vet or whatever, go vet, whatever, because I don't have those, I'm on a different operating system. So it makes perfect sense for how editors are dealing with this, how all the Go commands, but abusing build tags to exclude tests is very, very wrong. They are not made for this. No one does this outside of us. Kubernetes does not do this, no other project, right? So it's basically abusing something that and breaks the whole idea of build of how you code and how you do it. You should be able to just run make vet and verify all the code. If that code is not specific to an operating system, and is not, you shouldn't be hiding the code with build tags. That's my opinion.
My opinion is, in this case, your operating system is your cloud, or whatever, like however you want to separate things. And I don't think it's an abuse. I think it's a good use for it. Instead of adding skip everywhere, and if you skip some running sometimes because of all the skip things.
Why not have different packages then?
Why do you need different packages?
Different Go packages. One for Azure, one for AWS, one for Google. Then you run Go test the Azure package when I have access to Azure.
No, tests are exactly the same. You don't have different tests. Just the parameters you pass. You can say you can call the test with different parameters from different packages. Right. There's like test is common test. Same test runs in different providers and behave a little different based on the provider.
And this will run when I do make test. It will fail every time, right?
So it has multiple tags. It has integration flag, build tag. So when you just do make, it will not run. You have to specify integration plus give whatever you need to run. But we can just go with regular expressions from now if it is really confusing. Okay,
Sunny, could you?
We already use build tags for this or not?
Like even Flux too, I think, had build tags.
Yes,
so
that's where it was introduced. Yeah, and it's a very bad decision. Then we propagated this shit everywhere, right?
I think it's a good use case. I don't think it's a bad thing. What are you saying?
That's how you end up with code that doesn't compile into main. And that proves it's a wrong thing to do.
I would say it's a review fault. During review, when this was added, why wasn't it added in Makefile?
Anyway, okay, let's end it here. I'm done.
All right. I have to go
something?
for another meeting anyway. I'm gonna stop the recording unless okay.
Yeah, no, I was just asking.